Hey everybody, just wanted to go over the Kerwan map with you really quick. This match goes fairly well. I probably can end it a lot earlier than I do, but I don't. So, and this time what I try to do is basically go after 5-2, and then I see him kind of coming out the same way. So I know it's going to be a challenge to get both of these nodes. But ideally the theory here behind this route is to go 5-2, and then you can capture 7, and then 3, 4, and 1, which is a pretty solid route. Otherwise, you end up going, 3, 4, 1, and then 5, 2, 7, 6, and it's a little bit more sloppy. It doesn't have quite the flow to it, so it's not quite as good, I don't think, as far as routes are concerned. So he goes straight for 1 after he captures this, and I think that gives him a little bit of a heads up. I kind of don't have enough bolts here at this point in time to buy everything I want, which kind of leaves me a little weak on this side. So since I have to wait for him, I decide to leave instead of fighting it out over that node, and I just go to capture 7 instead. Because ideally, if I wait too long to get the shield, all I'm going to end up doing is coming basically across his path, and he's going to end up shooting me with his warmonger or whatever power weapon he got. So I decided to break contact and go over here. The alternative solution there would have been to go straight for 1, but given what I can do here, I can basically go capture these 2 in the same amount of time and make a little bit more progress. You get a huge heads up on nodes, because what he has at the moment is not quite as much as I'm going to have when I have 4 and 3 as well. So just keeping up on nodes and keeping as many bolts as you can and getting as many weapons as you can is the ideal situation to be in. So, and these are really quick captures. Like you can see, they're only guarded by 1 Grungarian brawler, and then you've just got the turrets to take out, which are really easy. So 1 little doppelbanger will take care of all of that. Plus you can level it up a fair amount. If it's going to be a long match, that'll work out to your advantage. So I see him as I go to 1. I believe he captures 6 at this point. He's trying to work on that, and he's only got 2 weapons, or 3 weapons at this point, versus my 1, 2, 5 weapons. So, and it's about to be 6. Once I capture this. So, I mean, that's a pretty big advantage. You're looking at a 4 to 6 advantage for the most part, as far as weapons go and bolts and nodes and everything else. So I take the money out of his hands pretty early and put it in my own. I got lucky there in capturing that right before the round ended. That's not going to happen every time, so that's kind of just luck of the draw. And then I go weaken up all his stuff. This is just more basic stuff, just jungle. You're going to get a few bolts here. You'll see me switch weapons a little bit. The last hit on the generators is worth quite a bit of experience. So you always want to make sure that you take care of those with the weapon that you want to level up. I probably shouldn't have used the combustor at that point. I should have used like Thunder Smack or Doppelbanger, just because it yields quite a bit of experience. But you do what you do. So I've got about 10 seconds left here. I want to put up the secondary shields and buy these pyro turrets so I can sell them. Those bill pads give me a bunch of extra money, so I can go over here and spend it on other things. I put up electro barriers first because they don't take any damage from the small Grungarian guys, and unless he rushes my base, I can just push out and go jungle without having to worry about it. The other school of thought here is using your weapons, so you can basically use like Thunder Smacks and Doppelbangers instead of building those, and you can just do regular heavy shields, which take more damage, they take more damage or stronger, but at the same time they don't deal any damage to enemies, so you have to worry about them getting broken down over time and stuff like that. So, at this point I've got a pretty significant lead on him on nodes, so I don't have to worry about capturing as fast as I can. I can get a little bit extra from the bolt bonus here and there. And now I can go over here and jungle these bolts off on the sides, it's a fairly good amount of bolts you can get. And then I can just capture these really, really quickly. And I see that he captures 4. I think so. I know that once he's captured that node, he's going to head for either 3 or 1. So I just basically wait it out. I go capture this, and as I see here, I think he's coming after me, and I've misinterpreted it. He's basically going over to 1. So I decide I can capture 2, and then on either side of node 1 there's a pretty big bolt cache you can grab. So I decide to just jungle over and grab the bolt cache and essentially wait for him. You'll hear him, he thinks I'm coming for him, so he jumps off the pad here, which is reasonable. So yeah, you jump across these little cars here, the hover cars, and then there's these pretty big bolt caches over here, which will give you quite a bit of bolts. You know, it's maybe 500 or something like that, which in the long run is pretty helpful. So he captures 1 and he takes off. So I go make my way up to 1 right after he leaves, so I can go capture it relatively easy, uncontested. So you just have to be careful so that they're not still in the area, because you don't want to go capture it while, you know, he's still here. And you'll see me kind of weaken up that big demo guy right there. All I did there was make it so that the Thunder Smack could kill him faster. I don't want to wait too long for it, so. And then I see him down here, so I know he's going to buy a shield, so I just drop around right on his head, and that forces him back into his base. And I can weaken up this shield, and basically weaken the turret, you know, take the node down. He ends up getting back in time to kind of rush me away from it, but you know, it's really no consequence. That puts me at a pretty big head start. I have a brain fart here. For some reason, I'm shooting him with the Sonic Eruptor from very, very far distance, but I stall long enough that the recon phase ends, and it, you know, doesn't really give him any benefit. I throw these little doppelbangers out, just because he seems like the type of player that will go attack them and do things like that instead of worrying about what, you know, everything else that's going on. So you'll see me break these down. Ideally, you want to get those bolts back, and you can build up some defenses so that you kill the enemies before they get to your shield, and the cryo turret is really good at that. And then I upgrade my health and ammo, and that's mostly so I can carry an extra Thunder Smack and an extra Doppelbanger. And then go over here, and I can basically get rid of these Warmonger turrets, which will give me, you know, an extra 500 bolts or some other nonsense like that. So I send basically demo guys just to stall a little bit. It's just going to buy me a little extra time in the recon phase, or in the assault phase, sorry, so that way I can go weaken more stuff up and be ready for the recon phase. So you'll see after I've done that, I don't have enough time to put up a second shield, so I decided to throw out some Thunder Smacks and Doppelbangers. And then I head back to my base to go reload on ammo. And I missed the first one, which is an ideal situation. So I put up the shield, and then I use the Thunder Smacks here anyway, just so they can get some experience and level up. And I decide to go take out his node 4. So I check 3 first. It's fully healthy. I don't have to worry about it. And then in the meantime, I can go right over here to 4
Base invasion phase
and
complete.
break it down. So I drop some Thunder Smacks and then beat this up. He obviously hears me or something, so he comes to fight me for it, and I get away. I don't have to worry about it too much. And basically what we do here is just kind of go back and forth. You see me hang. If you hang on the swing shots and he tries to skip the first one, he'll end up dying. So he goes over there and he's trying to work on those. So I'm able to just beat this down. I think he kind of sees me beat down his defenses here, because he comes and rushes me again because he doesn't want me to capture it. So instead of just waiting it out and trying to work on mine and trading, he wants to go after the kill, which is a viable strategy, but for anybody who's decent at breaking contact and they're not going to do that, it's not going to help you very much. So I come up here and I try to put some shots in him. I miss. He has a Zircon out, which is a good play. Sorry. And then I basically I start to teleport back because I'm going to go get some health, and he starts to leave. So once I see him go after another node, I just kind of rush over here, take out his Doppelbangers, and then capture this node. And he's done nothing pretty much to node 3, so I don't have to worry about him capturing that anytime soon.
team captured node 4.
So
The
from
blue
here,
team captured node 7.
I see that he's captured 7. So I just make the rush down here to the little platform, and I can hop across and take out 7. Basically, you'll see me put a shot, just one each, in these little guys, and then follow up with a Thunder Smack, and that's just because I can get their helmets off, and then the Thunder Smack will finish them off. And that gives me a little bit of extra time while those guys are getting killed to grab these bolts and get a little bit of extra money, which you see there is quite a bit of bolts, almost 1,000 bolts or so. And then I'm super low on health here. I'm really squishy, but I take the risk anyway.
Blue team captured node 6.
And it ends up working out for me in the long run. And I can weaken these guys up and then just capture node 7. I break away for a minute just because I kind of hear him and I don't know where he's at, and I don't want to engage. Since I'm so low on health, I kind of want to make sure I watch my back a little bit. So I capture this, and then the recon phase ends. I think it ends up with a 3-2 or a 3-4 advantage for me. So I don't have to worry about jungling too much.
Squad phase initiated.
So I send little waves. At this point, I probably have enough bolts to overrun his base and win out. And for some reason, I decide just to stretch it out a little bit longer. Probably just playing a little cautious. But normally what I would do in that situation, or recommend you do in that situation, if you have 10,000 bolts, upgrade to demo troops and rush their base, especially if they show that they're not very high in awareness or good at PvP and things like that. So again, I throw out the Thunder Smack, buy myself a little extra time. He's doing whatever he does. And from here I can go basically weaken up 5 and 2. So and the idea behind this is to continue to upgrade my power weapon. And once the recon phase goes, he's going to have enemies on the left lane, so I'll be able to rush him on this lane with whatever weapons I please. And that upgrades my Thunder Smack, which is huge. So now I've got all of these cleared off already. I don't have to worry about too much. And I can go rush his base. All I'm trying to do here really is just break down his defenses. I can hit this shield and basically cost him a little bit of extra money. And that's all I really want to do. I'm not really too concerned about anything else. So I see that he sent some demolitions troops to my base. So I basically just try to stall and throw down some Thunder Smacks to do a little damage and keep him off of me. At this point, he's hit his panic button, so I kind of just waited out. I head back to my base so I can refill on ammo and get everything taken care of and get in position to capture node 6 as quickly as possible. And I waste time here. If I just head straight to node 6 from there, I probably have enough time to capture it because I'd be on the pad right now. Instead, I spend about an extra 3 seconds getting there, which gives him enough time to get behind me and make me disengage. And we kind of play this little tango here for a little bit. And it basically prevents me from capturing anything, which is unfortunate. But like I said, I have the advantage, so I don't have to worry about it too much. I can just continue to play the little game. Unfortunately for me, I do make a mistake here. I try to hit some shots in him, and I don't land many. I land one right here as he jumps up, but I jump and there's nothing there. Then I get caught in trees for a little bit, so I have to deal with dying, which is unfortunate. So I respawn back at my base and go to make a play again for 6. And he starts working on 7, I think. So I see him over at 7, and I force him to disengage. He hasn't weakened it yet all the way, so I can lay some shots in him. Unfortunately, I don't get enough to kill him, and he runs away, so I just chase for a little bit, and I start throwing down Thunder Smacks, hoping that he's just going to go back and forth. But he gets a little bit smarter than that and kind of rushes. He does play this pretty well, and he rushes around and platforms pretty well to keep away and not get in contact. So, but yeah, I just chase him around, and that's really all you have to worry about. I've got the advantage, so there's no reason for me to break away. I could go capture 5 and 6 or 5 and 2 at this point, and it would give me 2 nodes relatively cheap. But in the long run, I go capture those 2, and then he captures the other one. It doesn't really put me up too much, especially if I don't know what else he has captured at the moment, or weakened rather. So he gets really close to killing me here, and then I think I have him here because I dropped this and it makes, you know, the death noise or something similar. So I think I have him. I get really lucky that I don't take any shots from Zircon at that point, but he keeps pressing on. So he hits me with a Sonic Eruptor shot there, and I just managed to stay alive long enough that I can survive the recon phase and he can't capture 7. So I end up getting more bolts over time, which sets me up for the win. So we got 21,000 bolts here to go blow, and I decided to get 10 for tanks, and I'll make them elites. The idea from that is elite tanks are basically just going to clog up a lane. He's not going to be able to kill him fast enough. I know he doesn't have bolts enough to set up, you know, a multitude of cryo turrets on one side. So I just send both of those, and then I decide to build up some defenses just in case he decides to send anything kind of vicious. I can, you know, get rid of him. If he sends any bombers, they're going to get frozen because they'll get caught on the Groovatron, and I won't have to worry about it too much. So I go into the middle of the base, or to the middle of his base rather, and the idea here is just so that you can position yourself to basically see his username and know what lane he's going to get first. So you see me spin the camera around, and then I can kind of see his username, and then the tanks spawn, and you just see him like panic, and he freaks out to go kill him right here. He sees, oh, nope, you better take off. So once he leaves, I know it's a free reign for me. I go around the corner, and he's got a couple doppelbangers up. He hasn't spent any money on defenses, so it's really easy for me to go get in. He comes to attack me, so I just drop thunder smacks all over the place, and that buys me a little bit of time. You know, he goes to do what he does, and I can disengage. I shoot these, and my aim is awful, so I miss so many times. But finally I can get in, and I decided to start beating down these warmonger turrets and other things. I go up to the top here to go shoot it out and throw some stuff at his turret, and he starts attacking me instead of the tank, which sucks. So I take some damage here, get splash damage, and then I try to flee, and he chases, and unfortunately I get caught on some phantom geometry and can't get away. So I have to go back, and he's waiting for me, so I just take shots to the face. So I'm forced to go back all the way to my base and rush again, but I know the left side has no defenses, and the right side it looks like the tanks are making it in. So both sides have no defenses and are viable, but since they're both concentrated on the right side, I know he's going to be looking down that lane, so I can get in on the left side a little bit easier. And the alarm's not going off, so he's not really paying much attention to his radar. So I go in here, and you'll see me drop a bunch of thunder smacks, and basically that's just so he takes damage. It's kind of trollish, but you know, it saves me from having to deal too much with, you know, fighting him, and plus those will suck up some shots from his warmonger. So if he decides it's time that he wants to challenge me with those rockets will hit there first, and they won't do anything to me much. So I get lucky here, and I hit the last shot, and it upgrades my weapon so I can take out more of this. And he basically ends up dying right here. He jumps in front of the tank's lane of fire and catches a round to the face and dies, but I get back to my base, and I wait for the victory. But unfortunately for me, he gets sourpuss and just turns off his PlayStation. So I end up winning the match, and that's it. So yeah, like I said, good strategy is to go 2-5-7 or 5-2-7, and then hit 3 and 4 from there, and travel for your power weapon. You're going to concede the power weapon for a little bit, but it's pretty viable, so definitely makes sense to do. Alright, well, I'll try to do some more of these with a few different strategies, particularly to go to 3-4 and then 1-5-2-7-6, and hopefully that should help out a little bit. But in the meantime, I'll catch you guys around.